time is nigh. Open up your eyes to see the signs of the times. Got to be wise to all of their lives. Look to the skies from where my help comes. Wake up, got to wake up from the slumber. Don't let them pull you under. Rise up off the water. Never let them wrestle you into the mud.
Yes, greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Empress Wazira Menin. Yes, y'all already know, one perfect balance. Greetings and welcome to Politically Incorrect, where we get it correct, and if we're not correct, feel free to correct us, family. I almost didn't make it on tonight, but I definitely had to come and drop some science, some reviews, some comments on a few clips we have, only because I know the people be looking forward to it. So much. I mean, where we going to start? Where is Barbados going with this? Disinformation and misinformation. That's all I can tell you. Disinformation and misinformation. We're going to hear from the Roman Catholic Church tonight. They had a whole big conversation on the crime in Barbados. In case y'all missed it, we're going to discuss that. I wanted to be there, but I didn't get to go. I would have loved to have been in the audience, but I'll let this ex-police officer tell you his view on this. Also, Ministry of Education. We're going to discuss this issue with the school. But this is not even nothing that's happening now. This was being talked about eons ago. That's what I'm trying to show you. They playing games. And by saying they, I mean they don't have no intentions on fixing none of these social issues that are directly linked to the level of crime in Barbados. You're being misinformed with disinformation. Not disinformation, but disinformation. So we're going to take a look at it tonight. Plus, you got some UE students actually up in arms about a few things, including their security with regards to the shuttle at night and whatnot, because things are getting so bad. Even the UE students are protesting and trying to get attention. And if that wasn't sufficient, they're talking about raising the minimum wage. What does that mean for you? And what does it mean overall? I think that's the best way of looking at it. So we're going to touch on those tonight. And, you know, again, I'm going to say, it's a call-in program, but I already know. Let me just plug in the phone, make sure it's online in case anybody decide to be brave tonight and call in Politically Incorrect, where we get it correct. And if we're not correct, feel free to correct us. So let me line this up. Let me cue it up. Make sure I check the volume. Oh, wait, there you go. I got it right there. Got it right there. Bam. All right, there we go. Fake news, man. Fake news, man. I think it is fake news. I feel it is fake news, and there may be some truth to some parts of it, but I'm gonna give you my perspective on it. That's what I'm gonna do. My perspective. Give thanks for those who send you well wishes to Princess. Just let you know she's doing a little better, not fully 100. Like you said, I don't normally even discuss personal stuff, and so it was that kind of viral thing going around is pretty crazy. So make sure y'all wash your hands, man. Practice good hygiene. Wash your hands, man. Whenever you go and come in, wash your hands. Before you go and eat, wash your hands, man. Your grandmother always tell you, wash your hands. So remember to wash your hands. There's some things going around, man, that got people on their back. I've seen that around here a few times, but again, family, you got to be wise in these times, man. We got to be wise in these times. Anyhow, if you want to call into the program, the number is 246-838-8253. That's 246-838-8253. And having said that, we're going to jump right into this thing, man. First, we see we got King Alfred in the building, man. Greetings, everyone. Rastaman and viewers. Locked on from Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn in the house. Big shout out to Brooklyn, New York. I don't know if it's still cold, man, but I could just imagine it was a bit chilly at some point. Nevertheless, we got Brooklyn in the building. Shout out to Jackie as well. Good to see you log on as per usual. I got to give a special shout out to the people up there in the colder parts. I won't mention the place, but you know who you be. Oh man, destined to win. Definitely shout out to Daffodil. Oh man, my folks up in the north, Beverly, greetings to you too. Greetings to you. Give thanks all day, every day. And Brother man, it looked like the head of the Vatican is dying. It's so funny you should mention that. I don't even look. You cannot make this stuff up. We're gonna discuss a bit of the Catholic Church tonight. So stick around, Sean. I might need your insight on that. He said health is wealth. Once you know that, they convinced us that high rise buildings, concrete jungles, and fast food is progress. Not realizing that running about barefoot, climbing mangrove trees, and eating endless dunks and akis, going to the beach when you feel free. Oh man, that's the life. That is the life. Greetings and salutations to my family from across the water. Grosele, big shout to Grosele, man. Who know, who don't know well. Today was a cold day. Look, King Alfred, I am sorry to hear that, man. Jackie said the same thing. It is cold. That's that cold front that coming this time of year. Y'all know what time it is, man. As February and March is give you that last kick. That last kick, you get that last kick, man. So y'all already know. Jacqueline, good night to you. Good night to the family for sure, for sure, for sure. All day, every day. Patricia, give thanks, Miss Cumberbatch. Good night to you too. Thanks for tuning in. Where you from? If you don't mind, tell us where you from and what's the weather like, especially if you're coming from over and a yonder. Shout out to, well, Daffy did say cold as well, man. So I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. Big shout to my brother right there, Mr. Dale Hayes. I see you, man. Shout out to you too. Fully successful. Yes. Listen, my brother, I ran into another brother. I guess he might have mentioned we spoke about you. We call your name, man. It's good to have you locked on. I'm glad you're locked on though, because we're going to touch on some discussion with the Catholic Church. Maybe you could add your value because I know you know what time it is, brother Dale. I know you know what time it is, man. So stick around. Maria, I see you. Shout to the whole Fade family, Barbados National Congress. You all already know. But listen, I need everyone on here now to go tell a friend to tell a friend. Go share this in your WhatsApp group. Go share this in your PTA, especially your PTA. We're going to discuss education and some comments from one of the persons who have done research regarding schools in Barbados and the curriculum. You don't want to miss that. Go share this in your work folder. They're raising the minimum, what do you call it? Minimum pay. We're going to discuss that. So go tell a friend and tell a friend while I get this first clip lined up. Give thanks, Maria. It's good to see you tuning in as well. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Politically incorrect. We up and running. This look, I had to. I was going to postpone it to Wednesday. I don't want to because the folks be like, Emmanuel, we be looking for you, and I know that. And it's not always I would love to be here every day, all day, but sometimes life requires personal attention. You know what I'm saying? So once the little ones, the family ain't 100%, sometimes you gotta. It's a horn drum beat first, so you gotta do what you gotta do, man. So that's where we at. But let me just go ahead and cue this up. We're not gonna stick up tonight. We gonna hit it and run, hit it and run. So let me get that first video. Where should I start? I guess education, because I'm all passionate with the youths. Definitely passionate with the youths, man. So the students protest at UE also, but we want to go here to this particular clip that I would have been looking at earlier, and I want to play this for y'all, man. This is an old clip, but it is relevant, and I think we would have discussed this a few years ago, but we're gonna look at it again tonight. And by the way, I was watching some of the Parliament budget estimate today, man. I had the popcorn, but I had a pack of rosemary chips, so actually. But let me go ahead and add this to the stage. A veteran educator says illiteracy rate declining. Now, I mean, when you got those that study this thing, that know this thing, that looking around, we got to look at this very differently, family. We talk about the young men, and it's always the same story: the youth, the youth. The youth is who doing this. The youth is who doing that. The youth doing this. The youth doing that. We keep blaming the youth, but we gotta realize that the youth are byproduct of the society. Straight byproduct. So we can't keep pointing the finger. At some point, we got to take responsibility. But let me let this clip play, and we're gonna discuss this. And y'all can give me your thoughts on this in a few. Let me let her have her words. So
I did my own internal survey, and it is looking like it is now at 65%. Because I'm teaching 30 years, Shane, And when 30 years ago, when I started to teach this, I saw it coming at me. And here I am seeing that so many children are not totally literate.
Now, I mean, we're gonna let that sink in for a minute. I mean, for those who know who this young lady is, you know, I don't have all the details of her credentials and past, but what jumped out to me about this clip, in fact, let me play that part again. And she said it. I saw this 30 years coming.
Percent.
Hold on.
Because I did my own internal survey and it is looking like it is now at 65%.
65% is what she's giving Barbados literacy rate. 65. And this was a few years back. But listen to this part right here. This is what, like I said, jumped out.
Because this is, I am teaching 30 years, Shane.
30 years she's in this at this point. But this is like 2 or 3 years ago, give or take.
And when 30 years ago, when I started to teach this, I saw it coming at me.
Miss Kelman is saying that she been seeing this coming and she been trying to advise accordingly. But guess what?
And here I am seeing that so many children are not totally literate.
Okay. So let's do it by numbers. So we have a society of individuals, young individuals, who are not fully literate, who are not functioning at the level they should be. Well, psychologists will tell you that one of the things that causes conflict is not being able to what? Communicate efficiently. So if it is that, she said she did a survey. Let's do our own survey. Let's look at the young men who are usually involved in the level of crime that lead to the level of violence that we are seeing. And tell me if these young men are the A students at school. What are y'all thoughts on that? We're gonna connect the dots tonight because I'm gonna show you a clip that I was a bit, I the church ain't gonna like me tonight. So I'm gonna tell you up front now, the Catholic Church, if this is the gentleman from the church, the ex-police officer, I don't know if he's part of the church or the church brought him in to speak, but somebody need to look, I need to contact this church. We need to go there and speak as well, because we need to give the folks a different perspective on this one, because what he's selling, I ain't buying. In fact, not only am I not buying it, I hope society and the people in Barbados do not buy into disinformation and this misinformation. It was crazy. I see you, King. Greetings tonight. Shout out to the family exactly who failed them, the ones in office with policies. You know what? We look. Don't get me wrong. We can point fingers and claim who failed who. In reality, we are the ones that's failing them, because the ones in office can only do what we allow them to do. So we see that they're failing our children. We have a duty to do something about that, other than simply point a finger and scream, "Mia must go." Adults got a whole accountability for the children's actions too. I just look, man, Daffodil, I'm telling you, I totally agree. Totally agree. What do they expect using an education system that was given to them? Board time. It is changed for a need of the children, for the needs of the children. Well, we say that, right? We are different to those who gave us. We are different to those who gave us that system. Well, you know what? Jacqueline, don't get me wrong. I agree with you. But then you wonder why they don't adjust it, why they left it for so long. Because the truth is, this is the outcome is what they want. What we see is what we get. That's what they want. They don't want that to be any different. If they wanted it to be different, they would have adjusted it and amended it already. Barbados has primarily been on tourism. So what you need is people who can think enough to fold up sheets, clean a room, and escort folks here, there, drive them about, and deliver bags. Do a few checkouts at the airport and a few bookings, Airbnb, a few groceries, a few tours, and that's about it. You don't want nobody really. And you're gonna need the accountants to manage the money and do the laundry as well. The accountants got to do domestic work. They got to launder the money. Well, wash it. They got to clean it. So that's what's going on. So we don't want anybody here to be innovative. We don't want it. So we don't need people to be literate at any level. We need them to basically have the basics down pat, if that. The youth is not sitting in parliament right now selling off what sovereignty we have left. Facts, man. I mean, facts. I said earlier, it happened off not knowing themselves. Facts, man. Facts. That's what it is. Y'all on ball tonight. So why is it that our children don't know themselves? How come? How come? My brother the other day was telling me, he said he's an Israelite, and I'm okay with that. I don't argue religion. He's an Israelite. He was okay with that. I say, King David. He said, yeah, King Solomon, for sure. I said, well, who came after King Solomon, Mr. Israel? And I said, well, he said, well, I don't know. I said, well, who came after that one? He said, I don't know. I said, well, how you claiming something that you don't have full knowledge of, that you haven't even looked into? I think the problem is that we don't look into enough. We take it at face value and we run with it. We don't look into enough. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing something, but there's something wrong with not wanting to know something. It's okay to not know it, but there's something wrong with not wanting to know it. And we don't, that space right there, that working. What do they expect using an education system that was given to them? It is time, it is changed for the needs of the children. I see what you did there. We are different to those who gave us a system. Yeah, I got you, family. I totally got you, man. I totally got you, man. And so we appreciate the value, the input for those who are tuned in. Give us your thoughts, family. Make sure if you like the program, put a little thumbs up thing. They keep telling me I got to tell you this stuff. Otherwise, you won't remember. But I'm saying y'all do remember to click like if you like it. If you don't, you don't. But we got to do something for the children, man. There are people who see this thing happening. This young lady right here, Miss Kelman, said she's seeing this coming a mile away. There's a direct correlation to the young men who are committing crime and their performance in school. If the people ain't eating properly, the mental faculty will decline. That is, look, y'all are on the ball tonight 24/7, man. I tell you. Pedro, greetings, Pedro. Years ago, you would complain of that said issue. Listen, I couldn't believe it, man. But I like the fact that the youth say enough is enough. We ain't dealing with this. I believe the police showed up. Imagine that. But when they got little crime, the people getting robbed and stuff out there, I even heard about some cases of rape. I don't know if that is still the case. But where the police be at then? I just wondering. But the children got a couple of young people got placards and they show up. This thing real interesting, man. Real interesting, man. She's not wrong. Functional literacy is on the rise. The system is teaching to the test, not to create functionality. Numerate and illiterate citizens. They don't want to numerate, and they don't want the don't want literate citizens. Well, what do they want? Tell me what they want. If it's not functionally numerate and literate citizens, what is it that they're actually looking for? What is it they're trying to create, I should say? Because if you're not creating one, well, I guess it's safe to say you're creating another. How any child spend 7 years at primary school and not be able to read? The question is how any child spends 7 years at primary school. In fact, they're trying to turn the year now to 8 years. I think they said they want to start them now from, what is it said, from 3 to 11 plus. I don't know. They say it depends, man. Agreed. No knowledge of self. He said you can be the best academically and still do crime. I'm not saying, I'm definitely going to agree with you on that one as well, for sure. For sure. But let's look at the statistics, really. Let's look at the numbers, really. Those who are out there function at a certain level let's do a comparison. Let's really look at let's look at it realistically speaking. You know, then again, Antonio, the type of crime that the one doing academically well might be different. They might be doing what they call blue collar and white collar crimes, trying to embezzle or whatever else, versus running around the streets with guns and doing certain other things. So we got to be able to at least identify the two and recognize the difference if there's one between the two. But I thought her statement was profound, man. The education system is functioning as it was designed to. Don't get tied up. I see y'all on the ball tonight. Y'all ain't playing. Y'all came out here straight guns blazing. I totally agree with you, Emmanuel. They do want uneducated people. They can rule. Well, I think it was who said it best? What was his name? What was his name? What was his name? Who said it? He said you cannot enslave an educated person. Frederick Douglass, I think, said it. It's difficult to enslave an educated person. You know. Greetings to you too, family. Greetings. Long time don't see. Long time don't see for sure. And wait a minute. If you're still tuning in, let me show you something. You see this? See this right here? I still have it. That's how life goes, right? Some parents don't know themselves educated in the same education system. Well, I agree. That's part of the problem. The cycle continues. Agreed. It's a cycle that must be broken, family. It must be broken. One of the things we have to do is recognize that throughout history, all the empires that felt they were the greatest have all fallen, one by one. And this is not by any chance going to succeed. What happens is that from among the people, ever so often, some folks arrive on this earth that challenge the status quo. And they don't have to be any elaborate speakers or any fancy individuals, just the type of individuals that generate the type of energy that motivate the people to start to see differently the situation and their reality. And that's the time we're living in. So the system creates this energy where they feel they're dominant and they rule and they misuse and abuse the people for a while, exploiting the elderly, the middle-aged, and the children for a while. And out of that oppression, out of that pressure, from that coal, a diamond is formed. And that diamond is what breaks everything. So the system by itself creates its own cure, and sometimes even greater than it can imagine. But we're living in that time now, family, where we got to realize that we're living in a time where the people around us now are the ones who are here to bring that change. And it's going to happen. It is going to happen. Just look around. Every time you see now, things that would have appeared strong are starting to fall apart. Speaking of falling apart, children don't know who they are because the parents don't know who they are. I'm telling you, man, I love this crowd tonight. I'm loving this crowd tonight. Wait till I play the next video. I'm telling y'all gonna be up. Well, some of y'all might be up in arms, some might not be, but there needs to be a re-education program for this because it is straight misinformation, disinformation. They telling you that the education system is good all along. It's good. We're gonna drop 11 plus. We're gonna drop 11 plus. Yet every year there's 11 plus. It's like they take you for a fool, man. And here's the worst part. They banking on the fact that you have not been fully educated. They banking on that because they know they have only given you but so much. We're going to get to the UE students in a minute. But before I go there, let me go down this other road. And a lot of them are trying to mimic what goes on here in the States when they watch these reality TV and his videos. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Barbados AG talked about easily manipulated citizens. He talked about bringing some program from Chicago that they were implementing in Chicago to control the gang violence that they see in Chicago with that in Barbados. What the minister did not tell you, however, that the gang violence in Chicago isn't so much about what he's thinking it's about. You know, they got this thing with drugs. So it's drugs involved, so it's drugs, it's drugs, it's drugs. What he doesn't realize that gang culture is not about drugs. Yes, of course, I am sure that that might be a part of it. I mean, drugs are the part of the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, just the other day, a man was trying to get $14 million to buy some vaccine to resell for about maybe $1 billion. I don't know. Drugs is a serious business. But what the AG did not mention to you, what Corey Lane did not mention to you, and what they did not mention to you was that the gang violence in Chicago is based on gang culture and pride. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's about. It's about pride. So much so that there are companies who make certain color shirts because certain color gangs don't wear certain color shirts. So although you see certain basketball jerseys or football jerseys with certain colors, the reality is it's such a serious thing that the colors would get you unalive, to use a modern internet term. And not doing no drugs, just having the wrong color on, AG. So what you're trying to bring here to help these young, well, let me phrase that because that was not what you said. What you're trying to bring here to arrest this issue is going to fail. And what you're most likely to do is throw gasoline on a burning fire. Let me just share this other video here as well while we at it. Speaking of gasoline and fire, because I could not believe this. I just hang on. That's not the one. This video. Oh, here it is. I got it. The brother said it was because of the growing demand for drugs is what's causing these problems in Barbados. Look, I don't know where they find these people. And don't get me wrong, I am sure that there were some valid points the brother made, because I'm sure he spoke for a bit more than the timestamp that they have up. It's listed here at approximately 2 minutes and change, but I am sure he spoke for a longer period of time than that. But what I want to say to you is that I'm sure he had some additional valuable points that he made. But this particular portion that he focused on and the things he said, I don't know if I subscribe to that teaching. And if this is what you're telling Barbadians, I think you need to bring some statistics or some facts to prove this, because from my perspective, from my knowledge, this is not accurate. This is not the truth. And it's not only is misdirecting the people, misinforming the people, and disinformation. It gives a false sense of how to fix the issue. And what you are saying, well, let me let him tell you, people. You can't make this stuff up. And like I said, I don't know this gentleman. I'm sure he had some additional points. But you see this section here, growing demand for drugs in Barbados. This is funny because, let me let him tell you. Listen carefully to what this brother's about to say, family. And this is why I tell you, we don't have issues with the youth in Barbados, no. We have adult issues. Listen to this carefully.
The senior police officer says the number one driver of crime is drugs. He says many are using drugs, and it is not restricted to any specific area. It is across the length and breadth of society.
Not only people on the block, people are smoking in their homes, primary school, secondary school, tertiary education. There's this growing demand for drugs because it makes you feel high, it settles your head, it gives you the energy you want, and so on. And if we're going to attack the root cause of crime, we have to start to stem the flow of drugs.
Okay, so he starts by saying, like I said, in fact, he lists a few. Let me let him list it. And we're going to go through these lists one by one. It's crazy.
People are smoking in their homes.
Let me go back a little further.
Length and breadth of society.
Not only people on the block.
So it's not only the block people he's referring to, the block men that smoking. Now, when keep in mind, when he said drugs, I was all, I was like, okay. So this is the clip that CBC is showing. Like I said, I would like to think that he was a lot broader. It was a lot. This particular path he was on was much broader than what they're playing. But because they focus on this part, I'm going to focus on this part to some degree. But we're going to elaborate a bit. So when he said drugs, I was thinking, he gonna call some real drugs like cocaine, heroin, crack, fentanyl, all all the prescription, all the other stuff that really influence children on people, period, in a negative way. But no.
Area, it is across the length and breadth of society.
Not only people on the block, people are smoking in their homes.
So he identifies smoking off the top. Now you figure, well, okay, maybe he means crack then as well, But let him tell you, block, they're smoking in their homes.
Primary schools.
They're smoking in primary schools.
Secondary schools.
Tertiary education.
There's this growing demand for drugs because it makes you.
I guess when he said home, he meant also professionals like doctors, lawyers, politicians, priests, teachers. So I don't know if he was just trying to identify, because he's saying the youth. So I don't know if he was only exclusively speaking about the youth in these areas, or because he didn't mention any adults. But anyhow, let me finish.
You feel high, it settles.
It makes you feel high, it settles your nerve.
It gives you the energy you want and so on.
Give you energy.
And if we're going to attack the root cause of crime, we have to start to stem the flow of drugs.
The superintendent says legislation is coming to help in the fight against drugs.
So they're bringing legislation now to fight against drugs. But this is a bit of a conundrum for me because, well, wait, let him tell you first. You can't make this up. Hold on a second.
Crime is driven by drugs, and of course, it flows into guns.
So crime is driven by drugs, nothing else. No poverty, no miseducation, no lack of communication skills, no emotional management, strictly drugs. Everyone that commits crime is tied to drugs.
Because you have to protect them.
And then the guns, which you need to protect the drugs, and that's it.
So we have to try to stem the flow of drugs, which is not.
So we got to stem the flow. In other words, we got to control how much drugs we release and how much we,
very easily. Because if we can take this thing out of crime, especially big crime, drug trafficking and gun trafficking, then, so that was we have the asset recovery, different laws the government bringing to try to pull the assets from under those big drug lords.
So they want to bring laws to pull the assets from under, quote unquote, the big drug lords. This is the direction he's going, but let him finish.
The police officer says people fear reprisals and prefer to stay silent and refrain from making reports.
So when we keep saying, if you see something, say something, that doesn't happen. That's why people continue to smoke marijuana all over the place.
So wait a minute. If you see something, say something. This is why people continue to smoke, quote unquote, marijuana. He does not identify at this point no other drug, just one, what he considers to be a drug, marijuana. So they continue to smoke it. So in other words, you are supposed to see somebody smoking something. You yourself don't know what it is because obviously you don't know what it is. You wasn't there when the person purchased it or rolled it or whatever. But because the individual is standing somewhere smoking something, you are supposed to not be fearful of reprisal, but just dial up Crime Stoppers.
It's not so much decriminalized. What happens is if you are caught with under 15 grams, you are taken to the police station, the investigation process, you go through the investigation process, but then you're given a ticket and you go to court and pay the $250, or then you go through the normal criminal proceedings.
So, understand what I tell you. What he's describing is legislation that basically, if you're in possession of a certain amount, they don't swipe you and carry you all the way up the road anymore. They simply give you a ticket, and that is it. But I find that to be quite interesting because can somebody tell me when that legislation came into policy? When did that legislation come into policy in Barbados. I need to know this. In fact, I just thought of something. Yeah. Inbox crew, do me a favor. Can somebody find that legislation where that was, passing law in the bill in the Senate or wherever in the House of Assembly that, they ticket you in? When was that? 2019, right? What? Yeah, but when exactly? Somebody get that to me. But let him finish.
So it's not so much decriminalized, it's just that they don't charge you and put you before the court. You go pay what
You pay a fine.
they call a ticketing offense. You
A
pay
ticket offense.
$250 if you have it.
Superintendent White says the fight against drugs is a combined effort, which includes the church, community groups, civic organizations, and the police. However, he concedes that the drug lords wield a significant influence in the neighborhoods in which they operate.
It's a big problem, and we got to again work together to address these problems, and it's going to take time, but we're committed to do it. I believe we can get it done.
The panel discussion is part of the Catholic Jubilee Year 2025 under the theme Pilgrims of Hope and reflects the Church's commitment to reconciliation and social transformation.
I want y'all to hear that last part. This is the Church Jubilee 25 year 25. This something they do every 25 years accordingly. And it's their commitment. I want you all to hear this carefully. This is how you know this is a joke. Like, this cannot be real.
Catholic Jubilee Year 2025 under the theme Pilgrims of Hope.
It's under the theme Pilgrims of Hope. Now, tell me when, especially Americans, those who are watching, the word pilgrims. When you first heard that word pilgrims and hope, what happened afterwards? Because really and truly, they slaughtered a being. Remember Thanksgiving? Let me let it finish. Hold on.
And reflects the Church's commitment to reconciliation.
It reflects the Church's commitment to reconciliation
and social transformation.
And social transformation. Reconciliation of what? And transforming what? Because when last we checked, the Catholic Church, right, was the one that sanctioned the slaughter, the murder, the rape, the theft under the doctrine of discovery. Go look it up. If you've never heard of it, go Google that. The doctrine of discovery, which was only repudiated, I think sometime last year, if I'm not mistaken, because they know what time it is. But we don't understand that. That's why our governments shouldn't even be functioning. Let me phrase that. The administrators who claim to be the government have no authority in these lands at all, because what gave them authority was revoked. But we ain't really ready for that conversation. We still campaigning for BRD. Yeah, I said it. Because folks, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And I always, they don't have the knowledge. So I don't even, I don't hold nothing against anybody. I just think it's sad that, even in the 21st century with faith, courage, and a just cause, David is going to still defeat Goliath. But yet, folks is cheering for Goliath. Folks ain't cheering for David at all. They ain't cheering for David. This brother talk about drugs is the, how about poverty, Mr. Superintendent? How about a little poverty? How you like that? How about a little oppression for the last how many centuries? Something called post-traumatic slave syndrome. How about the crimes that had happened before is starting to mature emotionally in these youth, and they no longer carry the fear factor like the plantation insisted that our ancestors carry. And these youth are saying, thus far and no further. How about that? How about they're saying, thus far and no further? But you like to think that the problem in this issue here is, what you call it, marijuana, which is funny because Barbados has a marijuana legislation that allows for the cultivation and distribution of marijuana. Sorry, pardon me, cannabis, aka marijuana. So when you say stem distribution, you mean stem the unauthorized flow, or the, so it don't make, so what they're doing is preying on the ignorance of the people and the fear. Or it's the drugs, it's the drugs, it's the drugs. It got to be the drugs. It can't be nothing else but the drugs. Can't be nothing else but the drugs. So it got to be the drugs. But the youth are saying thus far and no further. Speaking of youth, let's slide real quick here to this particular. In fact, let me check the comments real quick because I ain't seeing it in a minute, man. Let me just double check real quick before we go down that road taxiing. Like I said, superintendent. I think it said his name was Superintendent Wright. I don't know if he. Wait a minute. Let me go ahead and get these comments real quick. Let me have a quick review. He said, if you teach a man being poor creates crime, criminals is what they want. It was reversed in my grandfather's time. Well, guess what? When they start treating young people who have issues, self-esteem issues, identity issues, and they're going through their own identity crisis, consuming food that is, not that basically doesn't have any nutrients, any value in it. They're basically malnourished. And then you couple that with some misinformation in terms of education and lack of communication skills. It's a cocktail for a problem. And then so, they're not going to say that alcohol might be a factor in this. People consuming alcohol. It's easy to blame one thing, because that's what they're trying to do. Demonize something that has been recommended for medicinal purposes throughout the entire world. But here in Barbados, we gonna blame it on that. Like, that's what's causing the crimes. That's what it is. It's a drug war. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. We got lords in Barbados. It's like it's Harry Potter, man. Lords of the Ring. Greetings, family. Shalom, Sharon. Greetings. Shalom, shalom. Yes, you saw her, right? In the cut, man. In the cut. You said knowledge, Frederick Douglass, knowledge makes a man, knowledge unfits a man to be a slave. Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave, that's for sure. Take the youth in nature from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. for 28 days, healthy, joyous, and can speak words of wisdom. Just dark schoolrooms. Yes, sit down, shut up. You got to beg to go to the bathroom, and some teachers don't even let you go to the bathroom. You got to wet yourself. Hard shoes and low vibration food, immune system down. Speak it, sister, speak it. I'm telling you, man, we're going to teach tonight. We're going to teach tonight. Shout out to Baby Lee, by the way, the youngest member of the Fade family, Barbados National Congress, Baby Lee. You may got a few more babies coming, just know. Yeah. It could be 11 plus years until the common entrance is no more. Well, guess what? The commoner's entrance into the system. So that's what it is. Cogs in the wheel, man. Just cogs in the wheel, man. Where did we get the 11 plus from? The UK has the 11 plus. We still following and not creating our own education system. Well, they can't create their own system because they don't belong to themselves. This is still a colony. All they did was change Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC. All they did was change it from the colony to the country. The same folks that were running the colony is the same folks that running the country. Come on, family. Come on, my family. Come on. We gotta pay attention, family. Shout out to the brother right there, man. Greetings, mighty beings. Greetings to you too, family. They're trying to increase violence. Of course, Chicago, man, you gotta be kidding me. The AG should be the next one to resign. They said Corey resigned, miscalculated based on principles. The Attorney General should resign based on integrity or lack thereof, man. None. And Chicago got strict gun rules. Where you said, Phil, better look at it from a different angle. All right, give me the angle, Pedro. I'll tell you something too, though. I heard a story about a young lady in Chicago only today. Man, she survived though after being shot 11 times by an individual who claimed he loved her. Like he claimed he loved her, boy. Shot her 11 times. Shot her grandmother and her uncle several times. Chicago, man, different kind of people. Different kind of people. I don't know what man, look, man. Anyhow, let me. Now I see you, Lee. I see you. I see you. Greetings to you too, family. Showing who is supplying them. That is the question. That is not the question. It is who is supplying them. That's who is who. Mr. Who. Said growing demand. Yep, he said growing demand. After said high society too. Nah, they don't talk about that part. We're not going to talk about that. What block? I shout out to Natalie Jones too, tuning in. Greetings, family. Greetings. Yep, this is what he talking about. He ain't mean medical marijuana. Of course, he doesn't mean medical. He's referring to the. Well, I don't know which one he's referring to, Pedro. I'm not sure which one he was referring to. Sounds like they want to target cannabis. No, I don't know what. I think they're trying to demonize the youth and call them drug addicts. Because if there's a growing demand, he's claiming that even in primary schools, he didn't say the teachers are smoking in primary schools. He's saying the growing demand for it is amongst the youth and violence and the drugs and the drug lords. So, teachers are involved in no drug lord transaction. I don't think that's what he was implying, unless he was suggesting that. But he certainly did not clarify that in his presentation. At least this portion. I would love to hear the whole thing. I don't know if CBC has it or if it was online somewhere. Inbox crew, kindly find this particular program that came on, and see what's going on about that. The Roman Catholic and this Pilgrim of Hope or something like that. Reconciliation. I don't know what they give back the people the land. The Catholic Church in Barbados give back the land. The Catholic Church have thousands of acres. How the church get so much wealth? Give it back to the people. That's how you reconcile things, man. Crazy, man. Stop the hypocrisy. Alcohol and tobacco are drugs too. Alcohol reduces one's inhibitions and is legally sanctioned by the state. Just saying, man. He mean drink. I don't know, Pedro. But what I'm saying is crazy, man. I just, like I said, man. What is the legislation going to do? The legislation is not going to help. Well, actually, I think what they're trying to do is that could they build these people up, then they tear them down, they put them in prison, or they murder them, they unalive them, sorry. What happens is that the assets they have, the government want to be able to seize them, whether it be money they got wrapped up onto the floorboard or in the bank or in terms of vehicles or property or boats in some cases. They want to go after the money. And that's what the legislation is going to I guess that's what they're talking about. I'm just putting two and two together. Clearly, he ain't know what is going on. That's what I'm saying. They had him in the church speaking like he had authority on this matter, and he's simply misleading the people. And I think Barbadians deserve a bit more rounded opinion than just trying to demonize a situation for the sake of, increasing funds to the police service or whoever he's representing here, or who stand to be the beneficiary of these seizures. I think that cannabis is good for seizures. So I think we need to look at it holistically speaking and find a better alternate solution rather than what he's talking about. I hope y'all didn't miss that one just now here. Ooh, subtle. That cause and effect cause that he is trying to build is very weak. Well, I agree with you totally. It's definitely weak. But listen to the audience. You're going to the Christian. You're going at the church from a Christian perspective. Most folks, see things from a biblical standpoint. Will agree with him totally, and that's what they're banking on. They're preying on the fear of the people. They always prey on the fear of the people. You know what I'm saying? Sister said Joker. I had put a star on a message I saw earlier. I'm here looking for it. He talking about seizing the assets. Oh, here it is. Right, precisely. Activity and engagements are what is needed, especially the boys. Having all that testosterone cooped up in the classroom all day, every day is counterproductive. And then they say the boys have ADHD and need Ritalin, which that sounds like a drug too, but I won't even touch that. That sounds like something to numb you. But that's what they do. They just label and they label and they label and they find ways to, you know. Oh, Pedro said, I think 2021 is when it came out. Could be wrong. I thought it was 2019, but we need to look into that. Not many thinkers are running things. That's also a fact. Jackie asks, is he a minister? I think he's a police constable. I think he's a constabulary. Yep, this is why we have the issue. I agree. And this is a leader in our community. I totally agree, man. He said he feels he sounds smart saying that. Hold on, I'm going back up the chart. Can't pull name people smart in these times. Can't get some people assets pull. He talking foolishness. The speaker honestly is very narrow in his thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they had him perhaps as a guest speaker or one of the panelists. I'm not sure. Like I said, I these events. But again, the people misinformed, man. Really sound smart saying that. Okay, well, let me go down a little further here now. Let me show you what my issue was with this thing here. Let me just go ahead and drop this other science here real quick. This right here is what we're looking at, because not all the youth out there doing certain works. Some of the youths actually putting in some serious work.
To rally to state our issues that we've been having over the past 2 semesters. We gathered at the student union and we made our way down to the Office of Student Services and then to the administration. And the reason for that, we were protesting against the financial mismanagement, the closure of the Guild's financial account, and the transfer of its cash to the Office of Student Services and Development for oversight. Now, when we made our way down to the administration building, we were met with security and members of the police service who would have stopped what we were doing, only to ask what exactly was our reasoning for coming down here. And I would have stated all of my claims to them. And then eventually it got the attention of the deputy principal, who would have came outside and pulled me aside to kind of get a briefing of why we are out here.
So there's going to be a meeting?
So following going inside with the deputy principal, he would have asked to meet with me so that we could further discuss in further detail what exactly the issues are. And for me, that was kind of a problem because they know exactly what our issues are. I have sat in many meetings. I've made many reports. I have compiled all of my reports. I have all of my counselors here and students who have their grievances, their placards. Like, we have support here, and these are just a few of the student leaders on campus. Because yesterday at the AGM, when we would have made our reports, some of the students naturally would have been a bit apprehensive or a bit concerned about what are the implications of a protest, because I guess it's not fully understanding our rights as the student representative body on campus, as to act as a union, to act independently, to provide that student representation to the students on campus. So this is just the beginning. Hopefully, following the meeting with the deputy principal, we can share all of our grievances and get real solutions and real follow-ups with real action following the meeting. So that is where we are at right now.
I think today was really needed on this campus. And a student mentioned earlier that without students, there are no staff and there is no university. And that is quite true. Today, I feel that this is the start to many things to come on this campus, because we need an overhaul on the systemic structures at this school. As a hall chair, I have had one of the most tumultuous academic years in facing infrastructural defects, in facing other issues on the halls as it pertains to resident safety. Would you imagine for an entire academic year, I've had a faulty alarm, and the faulty fire alarm, and the more that I try to source information from the relevant authorities, it's been dismal. This we need to find the proper avenues, proper ways of dealing with our as it pertains to communication, the safety and security concerns, and the shuttle. We most of us here are CARICOM nationals, so we are contributing nationals to this school. We try our best to pay our fees. We try our best to pay our fees on time. We try to meet the deadline of the school so that we can pay our fees. We need to find a better way in how we can handle our shuttle service.
I hope y'all recognize what let me just pull it right there real quick. First, I want to applaud the young people for stepping up. Real thing. I just want to shout out to UE students for stepping up. I don't have, yeah, for sure. Big shout out to the UE students, especially CARICOM nationals. Big shout out. Extra shout out. For sure. I don't know if I have much faith in UE. I mean, I have some degree of faith in UE, and I said that deliberately, pun intended. But I don't know if I have enough because, like I said, producing the type of leaders the Caribbean need and CARICOM would hope to gain benefit from, I don't really see it. But this set of young people are willing to step up and advocate and agitate for what they believe are rights that they are not receiving. I noticed that he mentioned that there were some who were concerned about, well, if I go and protest, what's going to happen to me? Well, I know UE is much bigger than this. This is a small group. And you know what? It's always a small group. But guess what? A small axe chops down a big tree. So I'm going to encourage the youth to speak for what is rightfully entitled to you. And if there's individuals there who are not, following or presenting the appropriate channels, well, the youth said, one of the cards said, fed up and fired up. I hope these folks realize that I hope these older heads realize that it's the youth that inherit the revolution here, rather than the streets, according to the brother smoking the dope or whatever else he's trying to suggest, and they're violent. Don't get, like the brother said earlier, you could be academic and still commit crime. It is the cause that motivates you here. These students here feel that they've been wrong after spending their money and doing certain things. Yeah. It is not the fact that they're academic or otherwise. It's that this generation is saying thus far and no further. So I definitely want to bring up the youths, man, again. What's your thoughts on that, family? What he said, church and state should be separated. I agree. They profited from the opium trade and the slave trade. They're still profiting. Generalization causes broken at the youths. Yeah. Generational curses. We got generational curses. We speak about that and breaking them. But I know the youths right now ain't going on that same path. I could tell you that. They've been doing no minimum wage like that. The church gets government grants. Well, that too, but also the church got to collect money and don't pay taxes. So some Bajans still living in a bubble. Drug abuse prevention and control are adequate and antiquated, as they say in 1991. They might be antiquated, but I mean, they're looking to bring some new things and put in places. Maybe they don't know the legislation. That's a possibility, Natalie. Oh man, Sean, stop playing. That is for the Canadian market, not the locals. They made it so expensive to enter the marijuana market. I see you, Sean. I ain't even touching that, man. I ain't even touching it. This is a tough question. If the government is so serious about curbing the drug problem, which is the cause of crime, quote unquote, why are people who smoke marijuana being fined as opposed to being jailed for said criminal offense? Asking for Q. Pedro say the constable never pull a spliff. I don't know, yeah. I don't know, man. When them sees it, them just sell it. I don't know. They might have an auction, like they're about to do the land in Barbados that they're walking around and claiming because they're claiming it. I know a few spots will already get identified target, reached out to family, no communication, they cleared it. Now the invoice going to follow. You don't pay that. The government want the money for the taxes owed and the debt to clear the land. That might be 20,000. You might get a spot worth $200,000 for 20 grand. It about to be open season. Remember, e-commerce. Yep, we're doing what was it? Convince. Man, he ain't paying attention. Trying to catch up with the comments, man. The comments that run away and left me. I too far behind. Without research and polling will produce misinformation for sure. All them need to resign because them ain't served no purpose, just ripping the country off. It's no wonder Barbados has problems. We don't even have our own electrical code. It belongs to either Canada or USA, and we use it. Every time they upgrade, we upgrade following someone else's code. Crazy. He said, even the Vatican, I could be wrong. He said, them and the Anglican Church need to give reparations. They need to do a lot of things, brother, including reparations, man. But they can't repay you for what they're still doing to you if they're still doing it to you. It's a bit of a conundrum there, Richard. Get back the land, Rastaman. We're not ready for that conversation. Well, my position isn't a matter of giving it back. My position is a matter of taking it. And I've made that clear on many programs. I mean, it's sitting right there. You could see it right in front of you. Is it somebody stole your vehicle, carried by their house and parking in front of the house, and you walk past the street every day and see the car there? Well, you better go and get that. Well, that's provided you're willing to deal with if there's a potential fallout. If you ain't ready to deal with the fallout, then don't fall out. Don't fall out. The Mari that they change it, that they charging people big dollars to grow it here, shouldn't that be demonized too? Well, these are profound questions. That's what the platform is here. The numbers on the screen, if you have a thought you want to share, feel free. A lot of politician assets need season 2. Well, yeah, I thought he's a police inspector. He's something along them lines, man. He represent that red stripe of some sort, some sort. If the church see things from a biblical standpoint, the word fear not appears over 300 times. Plus, it says that the herbs like ganja are for the healing of the nation, man. Just saying, man. Hold on. The police, wait a minute, hold on a second. Hold on. The policeman, like he read a criminology book and spoke on smoking. He should have read the section on social drinking. King Alfred, you and easy. But hold on here, Jacqueline. Pedro is saying the police was in riot gear like years ago. I don't know if the police was in riot gear at UE with the youth. I would hate to think so. What message does that send the youth? I mean, especially youth with a bunch of cardboard signs, and a laptop. I'm not sure what he thought they was going to do. Maybe he was going to hack the precinct or fire the launch codes. I don't know what they were thinking, but I don't know if they were in riot gear. I don't know if that was the case. Maybe they weren't. Fear filtering down in full effect. Even the youth are afraid to speak the truth for fear of reprisal. Sounds familiar. That's what I'm saying, man. It's a poor administration, it seems. Well, you were supposed to be I ain't even gonna touch it. CARICOM nationals have to take out mortgages to come across to study at UE campus. Raise the bar by giving value for money. I agree. Totally agree, man. Totally agree. Good evening, two brethren. Greetings to you too. Tell a friend to tell a friend if you're now tuning in. We just taxing. Let me jump to the other video as well. I can empathize with the UE students trying to get information out of the civil servant. It's very disappointing. Few knowing anything and few are prepared to share any info. It is serious, man. Are the jobs available for the subject that the students are pursuing? I think it's a matter of conditions that they're more advocating for. Things going on campus. You know, they mentioned security. They mentioned the fire sprinkler, the fire safety alarm, the fire alarm. I guess maybe a battery. I don't know. But they mentioned the shuttle as well. And so I guess there are a few things that they were advocating for that they have a right to, but it's like they can't seem to find the appropriate channels to address to present the matters, let alone get them addressed and resolved. Those in higher circles are in for a dreadful and terrible reckoning by the Gen Z and other freedom fighters. Man, it's that kind of time. Shout out to Aaron, by the way. Shout out again to Faye and the whole Faye family, Barbados National Congress, man. For sure, for sure. Minimum wages are hard to survive on in Barbados. I couldn't work for that kind of money. Speaking of minimum wage, Daffodil, that's a good way to segue. Let me just skip and jump right into this right here. Last week, we had this brother talking about a few things going on, including this whole thing with minimum wage. Let me just touch it real quick. And they're talking about as soon as next month. Listen to this carefully, family. Hang on a second. Hold on, Daffodil.
We expect that by the end of April, we will have a new national minimum wage. You will recall that Prime Minister has spoken about this matter for some time. We reconstituted the minimum wage board, and the minimum wage board is already meeting to address the matter of the national minimum wage, recognizing that inflation essentially demands an increase, but we're also working on a method of almost automating the increase, so that a system is to be constructed that will allow for the minimum wage, the national minimum wage, to be adjusted using certain metrics, certain parameters. But we recognize that inflation is not a local issue. Inflation is a global issue. We also recognize that those who work must be able to eat, support themselves and their families. And this is really a matter of recognizing that our development as a nation must continue to be human-centered. It must continue to understand the humanity of people and what people need in order to be able to deliver for the organizations that employ them and for the country more generally. And so the matter of the national minimum wage, which we were happy to introduce to the country just a few years ago during the pandemic, we recognize that the rate that we set in 2021 is not a rate that can continue throughout 2025. And so we are in the process of making the necessary adjustments, and the minimum wage board is working on that as we speak.
So it will be adjusted in April and it will be implemented in April?
We are working toward April. Now, I am not one who likes setting specific dates until I am absolutely sure about those dates. So I'm saying to us that we are working toward the end of April, having everything done. It is not a rushed activity, even though it is an urgent matter. So we are making sure that the professionals who are on the minimum wage board, tripartite, have the opportunity to consider all the necessary factors and make an informed decision.
For workers, this will be like a big win for us, but you feel that this is something that the employers could afford at this time?
Well, we recognize a fundamental truth, and it is that in order for a business to be viable, it must be able to strike that balance between its revenue and its expenses. We also recognize that those who generate on behalf of businesses are people. And if people are not in a position to be able to generate the business, the revenue for the organization, then the organization is not viable, is not sustainable. Same holds for country. So that the understanding is that we share businesses must make a profit if they're to be sustainable, and workers must be able to eat, support themselves, and support their dependents if they are to be sustainable. And so we don't see it as a zero-sum game that workers win at the expense of organizations. We see that workers win, organizations win, the nation wins. If everybody is able to survive, support themselves, and grow. That's really what national development is all about.
That is what national development is really all about. You know, if this wasn't so serious, I would laugh. National development. I'm not sure, like, again, this is what the university produces. Individuals who can stand there and speak like this, eloquent, and explain this to some degree where it might make partial sense to some and completely lost the rest of the folks. But all they heard was minimum wage increase, and that was sufficient. But think about it for a second. First of all, what is minimum wage? What is minimum wage? Minimum wage is basically this. Your employer would love to pay you less money. Less money. But because it's illegal, they can't. So they give you what is considered the absolute minimum, which is the max they really want to give you. They didn't want to give you $1 more. Any employer who is paying you the exact minimum wage is saying to you, you know, I appreciate you working here and on everything that you do, but if this wasn't law, right? I'm telling you, man, I would give you less for the same work. Development. All that means is when they increase minimum wage, it means the government gonna get more money because national insurance got to come out because, you know, they tax you anyhow. You got to pay more taxes on what you receive. You got to pay more. You got more money to spend now. So when you spend it, you're gonna be taxed again, whether it's bus fare or otherwise, or whether you're buying fuel for the boat, go pay road tax for the boat that going on the sea. What, Colin? I could call you Colin because I know you like, well, I don't know you like that. But let me say this. How about taking all the taxes or majority of the taxes off majority of the things that you overtax already anyhow, exploiting the people? How about that for starters? How about getting rid of a lot of these taxes, man, that don't make no sense other than to benefit those who benefit from them? And not just that. In addition to the quote unquote increasing the minimum wage, let's not call it minimum wage, but let's start to create a standard system, not a minimum wage. I mean, the idea, even the term minimum wage is such a derogatory, insulting term that y'all are too educated to recognize it. Because like I said, all it means is that if the man could pay less, he would, but it's illegal. So I give you the minimum, bare minimum, which is my max. I ain't getting you a penny more. Your minimum is his max. I ain't getting you a cent on top of that. And furthermore, I'm cutting the lunch hours, and I ain't paying for lunchtime. Come on, Colin, you making sport, man. Y'all ain't about no, this is about no development once the people can strive and grow. The people can't grow. First of all, they need land. You want to be realistic, they need land. All the plantations in Barbados that the government claimed they seized, that land belonged to the people of Barbados. So don't misappropriate it, then sell it to foreigners and whatever else y'all do with it, and then claim you're gonna get the folks some minimum wage increase. Like, y'all people, I'm telling y'all, look, y'all sick, man. Y'all are sick and don't even see it. Don't even see it, man. Minimum wage is slave labor. Call a spade, bro. You come like the overseer. Well, listen, people, I gonna make sure you get an extra scoop of corn in your sack this weekend so you can make your cornmeal pop. Pop. Never discuss minimum wage. Well, yeah, you realize that he didn't say a word what the increase is going to be. Yes, they're going to calculate it. They're working on it as we speak, but it's ready for next month. Well, damn. Give us an idea how much you plan to increase it. Let me guess. Let me guess. I'm gonna take a wild guess. Anybody want to guess before I go guessing what percentage they're going to increase? First of all, what is minimum wage right now? What Iman said they calculating it. So once they calculate it, you know that they ain't talking about you. What percentage do y'all think they're going to increase minimum wage to? I'm gonna give you all a little time to think about it. Hold on, Barbados is not a real place. You kidding me? Those people love money. They will never be minimum wage, man. Living wage, man. It's an interesting timing. Precursor to universal basic income. PUBI. Pedro say his shoulders look tight. Yeah, he about to drop a bomb on Bajans. I'm telling y'all, Barbadians, y'all in for a rude awakening, man. What y'all think it's going to be? Then would raise minimum wages, then raise other things to increase cost of living. Of course, that's how it goes. Of course, they'll increase. I'll tell you that in a minute, though. He looks robotic. Yeah, he look a little different than what he used to look before. I don't know if they cloned him or not. If they didn't clone him physically, they definitely cloned him mentally. I remember the brother was a Seventh-day Adventist. He probably still Seventh-day Adventist, but I don't know if he's still relying on the Ellen G. White principles. I don't think so. And more like the MIA or the plantocracy, really, where he talking. I suppose they feel that people should be grateful for him. And that is it right there. That is it right there. That is it. That is it. You're supposed to be grateful. One should be thankful for that. You should be working for free. At least they gain you something. That is the mindset. That's why I tell you that they're sick. They really feel that they're doing some form of justice. That's how you know that these are the plantocracy. These are the ones that used to run the plantation back then, because they still think what they're doing is in your interest, although it's obvious to everybody else. It is slavery. Bottom line. But if you think that was, if you think that was it, hold on a minute. If you think that was it, let me give you this one right here. This is what puts it in perspective. This is what puts it in perspective. You cannot make this stuff up. Let me let this play. President of the Caribbean Congress of Labor, Andrew Lewis, welcomes the news. Listen, you cannot make this stuff up. Jacqueline, listen, in fact, listen to what he's about to say, people. Y'all can't make this up, man. Like, you can't.
Arriving at this minimum wage would have been, was a tripartite discussion, namely private sector, government, and unions. We all understand as workers and as citizens as a whole of the region, Barbados in particular, and the region generally, that the constant increase the cost of living. And therefore, especially for the workers at the bottom, who are not represented by trade unions, there is the importance of trade unions, because trade unions are always constantly engaged in what we call across-the-board negotiations to try to mitigate the impact of cost of living. So these workers who traditionally do not fall within the unionized environment would now be looking forward to receiving an increase on their salaries. Now, the goal should be, at some stage, not just in Barbados, but right through the region, to move to not a minimum wage, but a living wage. A living wage would address the aspect of being able to access basic needs, health.
Listen, I'm going to say this again, right? In fact, hold on. Let me get your full attention. Hold on a second. Let me get your full attention. The sister said it earlier as a precursor to, let me see if we can find the quote again. Let me go back up. Right, here it is. Interesting timing, precursor to universal basic income. Remember that, family. Now listen carefully to what this man about to say. I want y'all to pay attention. I don't come on here like some other individuals blowing a trumpet of fear, doom and gloom. I give you the knowledge so that you may not be destroyed. Just like the knowledge of sprinkling the blood on the doorpost. I tell you what to do, man. It's up to you to do it. Let me go back here real quick. Listen to what this gentleman is about to say. All right? This is a serious thing here, family. Like he said, this is for those who who don't fall into the category of the union. This is for the regular folks at both the place knocking about, what they call the useless eaters. Because just now, ain't gonna be nothing for you to do but just keel over and die. But listen to what he says, though, family. Listen carefully. Go tell a friend and tell a friend. Go tell it. In fact, you're gonna pause a minute. If you know somebody, go tell a friend. If you ain't share this already, go tell a friend. Go share this with somebody. Go share it in your WhatsApp group. A lot of y'all don't be doing these. I be putting in my work and doing my part. Y'all don't be doing yours, you know. You gotta do your part, family. Go tell a friend and tell a friend, man. Listen to what this man's about to say. Carefully.
Now be looking forward to receiving an increase on the salaries. Now the goal should be at some stage, not just in Barbados, but right through the region.
Right across the region. Not the goal is, you gotta listen, the goal is right across the region, not just Barbados.
To move to not a minimum wage, but a living wage.
Not the minimum wage. We can done away with that slavery talk because we know that is insulting. But what? Living wage. What you need to live.
A living wage would address the aspect of being able to access basic needs.
The living wage would be able to access basic needs. Remember? Universal basic income, basic needs. Listen to, he's trying not to say it, but he ends up saying it by paraphrasing it. Listen again.
Healthcare, your foodstuff, living conditions, and in particular, our retirees.
So basically, this is going to keep you from now. This will cover everything you need. You ain't going to need nothing else. You ain't going to need, this is going to cover your food, your health. This is going to cover everything you should need.
Because many times our retirees retire into poverty. And a number of
they retire into poverty because the pension that they had waiting for was stolen. But anyhow,
these workers retire without what we call health insurance, retire without pension. You know that there will be the national insurance. That itself would be woefully inadequate. So these things are important that it must be commended. In Grenada in particular, so for instance, I'm sure the region is something that must be encouraged. In Grenada in January of 2024, there was a minimum wage increase, which was also very much welcome. So it is something that we need to move through the region to address. And as I said, move beyond just a minimum wage, but what we call a living wage. Minimum.
I can let y'all watch the rest of that when y'all get time, man, because, I can't do it all, man. Let me post the link here in the comments for you, man, so y'all can go watch the rest of that. St. Vincent also increased their minimum wage sometime last year. Well, we gotta start paying attention. How much the question was, how much y'all think they're gonna increase the minimum wage by? Let's see, somebody said 4%. They've done the people so much injustice, and we can clearly see it. Listen to him on the Parliament debate on partnership. Ellen White would be shamed. Oh man, you serious? I don't know if Dale is still on here, man. Dale Haynes, I don't know if you on here. You may go and pull the brother one said and get a little reasoning. Listen to him on the Parliament debate on partnership. I don't know. Send me the link, Pedro, man. Jeez, on. So he just acknowledged that proposed minimum wage may not meet Bajan's basic needs. Pay attention. Pay attention. I'm telling you. Universal basic income caused so much devastation on families in the UK. People took their own lives as they couldn't afford to live when they introduced the UBI. Wow, you serious, Jacqueline? Now that's the side of the story that we do not hear, man. We do not socialism. That's a fact, man, Pedro. That is a serious fact, man. Good night to you too, Monica. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being in here with us. Family. Good night. Blessings. Sounds like Marxist to me. You're getting paid according to your need. Man, look, we in clicking. Caribbean head of states had a meeting end of February, so it's not odd that they will be lockstep on this matter. Speaking of lockstep, I guess pun intended. For those who know. The populace get teachers to hate capitalism, so it happens easy. Well, you know what, Pedro? I think, like I said, we who know have a responsibility to do, and that's why we do what we do here. And that's why, this program, y'all know, if they give us all kind of fight, and I'm sure they fight others equally the same way. So, like I said, when we come and do our part, you got to do yours as well. Make no mistake about it. You got to do yours as well, man. Well, when it comes to minimum wage, though, Pedro, I right now, what is the minimum wage in Barbados? Is it $8.50 or is it $9? I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, man. I don't know what it is, man, but they ain't fixing on touching that no deep. It'd be nice to see what they're gonna do. They said they're gonna implement this by April, so stay tuned to your local news station. But anyhow, folks, that's it for the evening. That was just my thoughts I wanted to share, man. I just wanted to share that with y'all, man. This is my thoughts. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Let me know what y'all think about the whole thing, and we can go from there on Wednesday. Maybe by then we will have a number that would identify how much they plan to increase it by. I think that's what's most important. That's what most people want to see. That's what most people want to hear. So I just say $8.50, but they might put on $1.50. You know what I mean? Might put on $1.50. Who knows? 10% would be 85 cents. So I don't think they're gonna do that. So anything less than 85 cents would be an insult. So don't tell me they can put on 50 cents and make it $9. They might put on $1.50 and make it 10. You know what I'm saying? And that would sound impressive to people. What? $10 an hour? Well, what that will do is help with the bus fare when it go up. I gotta stop this, man. I'd be having too much fun. But that's what that would be. Give you extra $1.50 a day. The bus fare go from $3.50 to $5. You would understand why that $1.50 come in. They give it to you, but you gonna give it right back. Just saying for the record. Man, oh man, oh man. Look, anyhow, let me get up out of here, man. It's amazing they couldn't come to the people with a percentage. They're calculating it, Jacqueline. They said they're calculating it. They got people who've been hired for this job. Maybe I don't know who they are, but they're calculating, what would be, best. If minimum wage is currently $8.50, I'm telling you, look for maybe $1.50 at best. At best, they give you back what they took from bus fare, and they add on the extra. They give you back the $1.50 that they took from the bus, but they added on to the bus fare. But then 6 months down the line, not 6 months, I'm not telling the truth. All these things are going to happen pre-election. But right after the election, you're going to know what time it is. So what's sweetening the pig before Christmas? What sweetened the pig before Christmas does get served on Christmas Day. Or I think they say get baked on Christmas Eve or something. So what sweetened the pig before Christmas does get baked Christmas Eve. Y'all can pick sense from that one. Something so she should tell me, I can't remember. But y'all get the idea. What fattened the pig does get served on the table. But anyhow, Wait. Hold on. Wait. I'm missing a whole section here. 850 an hour is no money by today's standard, but he talking about increase. So, I mean, unless he talking about giving people unless he looking at talking about $15 minimum wage, which is almost slightly on the double what it is right now. In which case, he talking development. In which case, he talking that, well, I could understand, well, folks might jump at that. Especially coming from $8, they might jump at that. So we'll see. But I highly doubt that would be the case. What was the minimum wage that they raised before $8.50? What was it before? Wasn't it $7 or saying so? They raised it by $1.50. What was minimum wage before it was $8.50? Pedro said $1.50 more. You serious? Wait, will you feel, Pedro, it gonna be less than that? All right, Patrick, the guy, greetings to you too. Not sure exactly who this is. Long time no hear you either. Let me know where you tuning in from. You in Barbados, so you're abroad. And if so, what's the temperature like? Where you at? $20 to $25 an hour would be acceptable. Yes, but to go from eight, let me tell you why they're not gonna do that. To go from $8.50 to $20 is to suggest that I was robbing you all along. You know what I'm saying? That's just way too far. It's like, wait, hold up. I mean, if you could pay me this now, you're gonna pay me this last month, month before around Christmas time, around Independence, around school time in September. So they ain't doing that. So I can't see that going down that road. Greetings to the matriarch family up there in UK. Greetings to you too. Family, y'all already know what time it is. Say, what can 150 do in these times? Well, what can man, look, I don't even want to touch it, man. That would be basically 5 days a week. That's 750 extra. So you're almost working an extra day. 750 extra, unless you're working a 6-day week as opposed to a 5-day week. I could see it being 150, quite frankly, or thereabout. Anything more than that, I would think is definitely, well, this is a political stunt by itself, but anything more than that is definitely a political stunt. But it will come in handy when bus fare go up, man. Don't worry about it. Buses getting scarce, man. It worked for an hour. You can't even afford to buy a bottle of coconut water. That's when you put it like that, Ryan, that's serious, yeah. Rise and shine. Jacqueline shouting you out. What sweet you will soar you. What sweet you will soar you is facts. You have to more multiply jobs and to live in Barbados. Yeah, you might need a few jobs though, for real. $15 an hour should be a starting point to eat and live well. Well, I don't know if you can eat and live well with that. It might help you, cover some ends though. I could appreciate that. But here's the problem with that. If we do the $15 an hour, again, that's almost like double what it is right now. And the same thing gonna happen. It's like, if you could pay me double from now, it means that all on you was getting over on me. So I know they ain't gonna do that either. 12 is a bit ambitious, but it's a jump. It's like by raising minimum wage by 50%. Again, anything is possible. But what I tell you is not going to happen is that it's not going to come without a cost, because the individuals who run these businesses, supermarkets and whatnot, they're going to have to recoup that money somehow. So although so when you raise the minimum raise, understand the cost of goods also go up. Inflation, this not really inflation by definition. They say that, but this ain't really inflation. This is something totally else going on. This is clear robbery, man. So we'll see what they do when they do what they do when they do it. I just said certainly less. You think it's gonna be less than 150? Nah. What was minimum wage before it was $8.50? I'm sure it was about $7, man. I am Beijing, strong and true. All right, Patrick, why give thanks? Where you from, man? Jacqueline just woke up. Okay, y'all start that back and forth. I ain't getting into that British conversation. Barbados has the lowest salaries when it comes to lower paid individuals. People will always struggle. Well, you got to create a permanent on the class. That's the whole idea. You see what I'm saying? The other islands don't think so. Well, the truth is, Barbados minimum wage is way better than a lot of the islands. Some islands was giving people, but I can't even say it was $5 an hour. I can't even say that, man. It was less than that, more like $4.35. It said the biggest security company in Barbados is get paid $50 per hour per man in Barbados, but only pay the employees $9.25 per hour. I call that robbery. Wait, whoa. The biggest security company in Barbados is get paid $50 per hour per man. Really? No. But they only pay the workers $9.25. Listen, Sean, bring me the evidence, man. Bring me the receipts on that one. Let me touch that. That's something interesting. Them come to work for the salary, man. Jeez, on $15 an hour, a whole lot of people would run to Barbados for jobs, and they will be paid less. Oh man! All with intention to make us not see we are being enslaved to work in the open air prison. Listen, look, family. Said what I said, man. That's it. That's basically it, man. We got to, my people, we got to do better than this, my people. We got to start to look at this thing different, my people. My people, man. If only you would open your eyes and realize the sweet lies being told by these who call themselves politicians, man. Don't let them fool you. That's why I said we got to organize ourselves better, centralize ourselves better, in order to mobilize ourselves better. And we have the means in which to do it. We do have the means. We just got to realize that we just not functioning on that level, man. All right, Patrick, I see you. Shout out to the family in Black Rock for sure. Sean, Ron is telling you, boss man, a security company will say he has overheads. Yeah, I bet. You got a few people working overhead. I tell you, man. And your family, man. Give thanks for y'all sharing your time, energy, and synergy as always. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Yes, I ain't even doing it. I tell you, y'all know what to do, man. I ain't got to tell you. Do what you got to do. I do my part, do yours, man. You know, they say if you deny Christ, they say Christ's going to deny you. You know, do the work, family. Do what you're supposed to do without fear. We definitely got to organize ourselves and start to find ways to sustain ourselves. So stay tuned. Wednesday, we can look at some solutions for the issues facing the region and how to implement them. So I trust the guests will come in. We will see what's happening, man. That is crazy, man. Minimum wage. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. Let's see if they're going to do the 150 or they can do more, because to do less is insulting. To do too much is insulting. What are they really going to do? They got to give you enough to make you feel, okay, well, I get a little something. All right? This is going to be interesting, boy. We living in these days and some funny nights. Anyhow, I just last year first, Empress is there, man. Y'all know it's the born perfect balance, man. My people, man.
Gotta come together as one.
Come together as one, family.
No more killing.
Come together as one, man.
One another. I tell you. To my people in the west side and in the east side. Hey, watch out now, you gotta be clean on the outside and in the inside. Hey, you the part that drop your arms and your weapon, you Selassie from both sides. Hey, yo, well to my people in the west side and in the east side. I told you, you gotta be clean on the outside and in the inside. Ask them, yo, drop your arms and your weapon, you see the CI from both sides. Watch out. So much bombs and killing and executing, defiling the people that's so polluting. In the West, there's so much stress, so much fighting, so much group and plus them shoot and the daily recruiting. Surprise suicides, instant killing, is it the island or whatever? So much blood spilling, there's no joy, the people, no time to be chilling. Got to be able and willing. Alright, this one is for the West side and the East side. Alright, I told you, you gotta be clean on the outside and in the inside. Hey, what's all up your arms and your weapon? Yes, I see from both sides. Hey, what you know? This one is for the West side and the East side. I told you, gotta be clean on the outside and in the inside. Alright, hey, well, drop your arms and your weapon, you see from both sides. Okay, alright, Israeli, Palestinian, West Bank and Gaza. Free up the territory because you know my saga. Well, happiness and war, well, happiness me rather. Them take the war thing on a bigger scale, bigger brother. Them putting up them bridges and them putting up them border. Them up the people crying, well, things are get harder. The judgment bitter, so bitter than bitter cassava. Earthquake, lightning, and miss lava. I told you, one is for the West side and for the East side. Alright, okay, gotta be clean on the outside and in the inside. Alright, ask them, drop your arms and your weapon, you see from both sides. Okay, alright, this one is for the West side and in the East side.
Coming from the West and the East, family. These times we're living in is not the regular times here. It's time to really get your house in order, family. That's all I can tell you, man. Simple as that, man. But I got a classic I wanted to drop earlier. I can risk at it. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to do it because I know how it is. Daffodil, don't go yet, Daffodil. I got a tune for you. Want to take y'all back real quick. Jackie, you too, family. In fact, moms, matriarch. Yes, moms. You are the matriarch of this program, the matriarch of Barbados National Congress, and we give thanks to you, Miss Stewart, all day, every day. I got a tune for you, just for you, just for you, just for you. Just for you, Mom. Remember this for Mom?
No use of you coming on your bending knee. You've done me wrong, and I can hear your plea. You're no good, no good. You ain't good at all, no good. Man, you hear what I say. You're no good.
We got to pull out those Mom again, man. Who like it, like it. Who love it, love it. Who like it, I'll go to do it. That's how we do it, man. Okay, like Danny, family, you already know, man.
No use of you coming on your bending knee.
Just you, man. Just you, man.
You've done me wrong, and I can hear your plea.
I'm not this one, man. To have all of yes.
You're no good,
No good.
no good,
No good.
You ain't good at all, no good.
No good.
Man, you hear what I say. You're no good.
Quite frankly. Okay.
You try your best to try and cause me strife. I don't like no man who's messing around my life. Hey, no good.
No good.
No good.
No good.
You ain't a good at all. No good. Man, you hear what I say. You're no good. There comes a time when you must cry.
Listen.
You never miss the water until
Mr. Politician.
No use. You're coming on your bending knee. You got me wrong, and I can hear
Mr. Politician,
hey, you no good. You ain't no good at all. No good. Man, you hear what I say? You no good.
Jackie, we see you, man.
No use
Tell them.
you coming on your bending knee. You done me wrong, and I can't